Well, hello everyone. It is John C. Morley here, serial entrepreneur. It's great to be with you on Inspirations for Your Life. We are on a brand new platform, as you know, and hopefully things are going to be starting to go even more swimmingly than they did in the past. So it's great to be with you. It is actually today is not a Sunday. Today is a Monday. Feels a little funny because you're off today. It's Monday. So happy Labor Day to everyone. It is September 1st and you're watching Inspirations for Your Life. I'm glad that you're here. We have an amazing master topic for this entire week, which just kicked off the other day. And I'm happy to share that topic with you because that pretty much sets the stage for the entire week, everyone. And I think it's pretty interesting to understand, what it is or, how it works. But the topic is the core that endures. Pretty easy. And today's granular topic is a really really good one as well. So it's all about basically something that we don't hear a lot, and that's in a world obsessed with surface depth is power. Series 4, Show 36, Episode 3. And welcome to the show. If you're coming for the very first time, welcome. If you're coming back, of course, welcome back to you. I'm always grateful to have you back here. And I do want to let you know that if you've not had a chance to check out believemeachieve.com, check that out after the show today. I think you'll find it really enlightening and help you to be empowered to do more of what you want to do. If you would like to get yourself a drink, like I have my RO water here, I also have some fresh apples that I was kind of snacking on. And actually, the Honey Crisp apples, they're really good. So feel free to go get that and hurry on back. And let's start the show off. All right, guys. I hope your Labor Day is going well. So, again, ladies and gentlemen, I want to take this opportunity to welcome you back to another episode of Inspirations for Your Life. I am your host, in case you didn't know, John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur, engineer, marketing specialist, video producer, podcast host, podcast coach, and passionate lifelong learner. Through years of building businesses and producing content, mentoring leaders, and coaching creators, I've seen a truth that stands taller than all the hype around. Depth always outlasts surface. The surface may shine and sparkle for a moment, but it's the depth, ladies and gentlemen, the quiet depth, the steady, unseen work that really endures through all the storms. It builds trust and leaves what we call a legacy. So I think that's really, important to understand. And so, ladies and gentlemen, depth outlasts surface. And we're going to dig deep into why cultivating depth in your life, business, and relationships always pays off in ways surface success never can. Are you ready? I know I am. So, number one is shallowness fades fast, depth lasts long. Shallow accomplishes things like sparks, but they just flash away. They seem bright for the moment, but they quickly die out. They grab our attention almost instantaneously, but leave no foundation to build upon. And they were like, oh, yeah, a spark. Depth, however, is like a steady flame. It may take longer to start, but once it's lit, it continues to burn with resilience. So people who chase only the shallow wins often end up starting over again and again and again and again and again. But those who invest in real skills, authentic connections, and lasting values will always create results that remain strong for years to come. Are you ready for number two? I know you are. Surface shines, roots sustain. It's easy to be dazzled by what we see on the surface, the glamorous lifestyle, the flashy results, the applause, but surface level success doesn't feed growth for long. Just as a tree cannot survive without roots, our progress and impact depend on what's happening beneath the surface. What is that? Discipline, self awareness, patience, and consistency. You see, guys, without roots, even the biggest tree will wither when challenges arrive. Number three, guys, hidden strength. It beats the loud hype. We live in a culture that celebrates hype, loud promotions, quick announcements, and attention grabbing moves. But hidden strength is far more powerful than these. Think about the strongest structures. Skyscrapers are supported by foundations. No one ever sees. True strength doesn't need to broadcast itself, it reveals itself when pressure hits. When others fold, the quiet strength you've built through, which is discipline and perseverance, shines very brightly through. Number four, guys, storms. Storms test roots, um, and they help us survive. You see, life will throw storms at everyone. That's inevitable. Failures, setbacks, betrayals, and challenges. When storms arrive, surface level efforts, well, they just sort of crumble. But those with depth don't just survive, they adapt, they bend and endure. In other words, they thrive. The roots they've developed through hard preparation and many years build it to have resilience and perspective, and that allows it to hold them steady. You don't avoid storms by staying shallow. You survive them by going deep. All right. Number five is depth. Depth builds trust. Surface builds noise. Noise may attract attention at first, but it doesn't win loyalty. Depth does when people notice it, right? When people see you consistently showing up with authenticity, honesty, and reliability, do you know what happens? Something very magical, guys. They begin to trust you. Trust is built in depth, not in flashy promises, but in repeated actions over time. Noise eventually fades, but trust stays with you for life. Trust is harder to build. Trust is the real Megillah. It's the real deal. But a lot of people don't have it, so they try to fake it. Number six, quick wins collapse. Steady wins always endure. Quick may feel exciting, but they're fragile. They collapse as soon as the foundation is shaken. Steady, intentional progress, however, endures because it has been tested along the way. Every step is secured, every level is earned. You see, that's why slow, steady growth is always stronger than overnight success, right? Number seven, guys, what's unseen keeps you standing. The most important parts of a building are unseen: its foundation, its framework, its structure. The same is true for people. It's the inner core qualities no one always sees. Things like, well, character, mindset, habits that hold you up. If those are weak, the surface will eventually collapse. But if they are strong, you'll keep standing no matter what. Number eight, guys, depth feeds growth. Surface drains it. Surface level living takes energy because you're constantly trying to maintain appearances. So you spend basically more time protecting an image than the substance that you should be putting forth. Depth, however, feeds growth. When you invest in what matters, you get stronger, more capable, and more fulfilled results. True growth never drains you, it will always empower you. Number nine, guys, surface sparkles, depth secures. Surface sparkle can grab the attention of almost anyone at a moment, but it doesn't hold their attention very long or keep you secure to what's happening. The shine will quickly fade, but the foundation you built through depth keeps you safe and steady no matter what. In business, relationships, and life, it's better to be secured than by substance than to sparkle briefly for a quick applause. I know a lot of people want the quick applause or they want that pat on the back or that acknowledgement, but that's not what's going to keep you sustained in business. Number 10, guys, real impact lives below the surface. The most impactful things in life rarely happen in public. They begin quietly. An idea worked on in silence, a discipline formed when no one was watching, a foundation laid with patience. True impact grows underground before anyone sees it. And by the time it surfaces, it is, well, unstoppable. Number 11, guys, hype will always vanish. Roots will remain strong. Hype feels good, but it's temporary, it's fleeting. People move on, but roots will remain to continue to grow. And they keep working to become even stronger and growing deeper, ensuring you're still thriving long after the hype dies down. What really matters is not the noise you create today, but the strength you carry tomorrow. Let's think about relationships, okay? A lot of times, people will wear colognes, perfumes to attract the other. They will try to look attractive and things like that. And that does catch the person's attention, but it doesn't hold it forever. There has to be something sustainable. There has to be something like a common interest. That's what keeps the connection going. Those things in the beginning might appear to be what brings you together, but they're not going to hold it together. It's like, well, very bad glue is the best way to think of it. Number 12, guys, shallow breaks, depth bends, and it holds. When pressure mounts, shallow efforts will always break. They snap under stress because they weren't built to last. Depth, however, bends but does not break. It absorbs pressure and adapts and holds steady because it was developed through persistence and endurance. And I think those are qualities that a lot of people try to skirt around. But when you have these at your beck and call, you will always have success. Number 13, guys, surface looks good. Depth makes good. Looking good is one thing. Being good is another. The surface can create an image, but only depth makes it real. Depth ensures that your actions match your words so that your results match your claims and that your legacy speaks louder than, well, your appearance. Number 14, guys, true growth starts underground. What we can't see. Every seed must first grow roots underground before it ever breaks through the soil, the surface. Without this unseen stage, growth is impossible in any light. The same is true for personal success. The preparation you do in silence determines the strength of your public results. Number 15, guys, noise fades. Foundation speaks volumes. Noise always dies down after a while, but foundations remain when the crowd stops clapping. What you built underneath is what continues to hold you. A strong foundation will always speak louder than fading applause. And I think that's something that a lot of people get confused about. They think that that applause or that standing ovation means something. And if you're just acting for that, and you're not living on depth or breadth, then you're going to crumble right after that action. Number 16, guys, depth builds legacy. Surface builds trends, fads. Trends come and go, but legacy lasts. Depth builds something bigger than you, a legacy that continues to impact others long after you're not even around. Surface only builds trends that disappear, like the fads we see on TikTok and many other platforms with time. Number 17, guys, roots will grow silently. It's the work that we do that no one knows about when there's no fuss. That's what makes the difference. Results roar loudly. Okay. Roots don't make noise as they grow, but their strength becomes obvious when the tree stands tall on its own. In the same way, the silent work you the scenes eventually produces results so loud they can't be ignored. I'm not talking about a fleeting action. I'm talking about something that is real and impresses people, not because you're trying to, but because, hey, you're good and you're the real thing. Number 18, guys, lasting success is earned in depth. You see, there are no shortcuts to lasting success. It's earned through deep commitment, persistence, and the willingness to do the hard, unseen work. I think a lot of people don't do the extra work because they just want to do the bare minimum. I can't tell you how many college students I've talked to that are undergrads, and they just want to do the bare minimum to get out of college or to get a job. So that's not good. Success built on depth doesn't crumble, it multiplies over time, it compounds. Number 19, guys, surface attracts, depth anchors. Surface level attraction may pull people in, like on a date or something like that, but it's the depth, it's the knowledge that keeps them. Is the person intelligent? What commonalities do we have? That's what holds the connection. That's what decides if there's going to be a date 3 and 4. Maybe you'll get past date 1, maybe date 2 and date 3. But after date 3, there's got to be some substance there. And if there isn't, well, it's game over. Whether it's in business, relationships, or it's just standard personal growth. Depth anchors what you've built so it doesn't drift away. And I think that's something that a lot of people get confused about. They try to build this big montage, and then when they can't do what they need to do, well, they just kind of cut corners and they hope no one's going to notice. I got news for you. Somebody eventually will. Number 20, depth wins where surface fails. When all else fails, guys, depth always wins. The surface may collapse under pressure, but depth continues standing. In every area of life, those who go deeper outlast those who only skim the surface. And I think the reason they skim the surface is they feel that they don't have to get that involved, right? Maybe you're volunteering and you're just trying to do the bare minimum. You're not really doing what you have to do. You're just doing the bare minimum. Or maybe at work, right? You are doing the bare minimum. Or maybe at a class, right? A students don't do the bare minimum. A students don't see extra credit as extra credit. They see it as requirement to do the very best they can in the class. And I know a lot of this sounds like a lot. It is. But when you take a bite out of it every day and you start realizing this is your core, this is your belief, this is what you live for every day, then it becomes a lot easier, folks, than to say, oh my gosh, I got to do all this. You don't have to do any of it. You don't do it because you have to. You should do it because you want to. And when you do it because you want to, something very remarkable happens. You start to build some serious roots, whether that's roots about a relationship, about a business. So, how do you build strong roots? One thing is to act with integrity, making sure you're consistent. Could be small, consistent steps. Making sure that you do things for the greater good of all concerned. You might say, John, it doesn't matter. I can step on people. I need to get ahead. I'm not talking about competition. That's different. I'm talking about doing the wrong thing or being unethical. That's what's going to get you maybe a little bit ahead, but it's going to knock you down boatloads when people feel and they learn what type of character you really are. Now, you might get ahead for a day, maybe a week, maybe a month, maybe a quarter, maybe a year, maybe several years. But then once somebody figures out that you're not doing it from integrity, that you're just doing it to manipulate them, you know what happens? They get a little bit angry about that. Usually they'll leave you as a client, or it might result in some other kind of problem. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you have learned a lot about depth. I hope you've learned a lot about this topic today, which is a very, very valuable topic and one that maybe doesn't come up directly, but it does indirectly. In a world that's obsessed with service, depth is power. Okay. The surface appears great because it's right there. But when we dig deep, that's something that we can't forget. It's something that means something to us. And you know what? It will mean something to others. It's not just about doing a good job. It's about doing the right thing when no one else is watching. So depth outlasts surface every single time. So every single time, yes. So ask yourself this. Are you chasing the surface? Or are you building the depth that truly lasts? And you'll know the difference. If you're chasing the surface, that it feels like you're always going after your tail and that you're never really making any progress. And that's because you're just moving on. You're not paying attention to the moment. You're not paying attention to the integrity to who you really are. And I think that becomes a problem for a lot of people. They think that if they do something now and they're able to get 5 steps ahead of you. I'll give you per example. I was on the highway the other day and I was doing the speed limit. And this gentleman, I'll call him a gentleman, I'm right there. He had to gun to get past me, right? So he gets past me. Then there's some other traffic jams and whatnot. And there's some traffic lights. At the end of the day, I'm actually 4 cars ahead of him. Now, I wasn't speeding, but you see, people get so obsessed on their position. It could be their title at work. It could be their position in line. I remember when I was in grammar school, and I used to think that if you were not first in line, that was the problem. I quickly learned after around 4th or 5th grade that it doesn't really matter what position in line you are. That doesn't define who I am in life. In fact, it would define me negatively that I always have to be first. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't come early to like events and things like that. But I'm saying is that you don't need to push people down and get first in line. Of course, you can be first to a concert, but this kind of firstness is more of a petty firstness that we had in school, right? And so I remember when they would call the car line, which would actually be, I think it was number 4 was the car line. Number 1 was, I think, the Carroll Place line. Number 2 was the Preakness Ave line. 3, I think, was the bus, and then 4 was the car line. So the car line was a line. You had to line up, and then we would walk through. The car line was the longest. So we'd get on the car line, and then one of the moderators would walk us through. And when we were being walked through, we were told that we were not to make any noise. If we made noise, like talking to our neighbor, etc., they would stop the line. And when they stopped the line, usually be for a minute or so, if it was a really strict moderator, they might stop the line for even 2 minutes, 5 minutes, or even longer. I remember when we were on the car line, and because the car line was not just in 1st grade to 3rd or 4th grade, it was also from 5th to 8th. So I remember taking the car line on the 2nd floor, and that was a little more treacherous because we had to go further, right? It wasn't as close just on the 1st floor. So we'd come down the stairs, and the big thing was when we came down the stairs that we had to be quiet and go down the stairs easily, not like elephants. I remember being in 1st grade through basically 4th grade. I remember we would have to go upstairs, and the teachers would always say, well, that's where the elephants live. And the reason they said that is because they were always so loud with their feet. But I never noticed any elephants up there. That was just the terminology they used. So then we would come down, and when the line got to the gym, we'd get to the door, and we'd walk outside. And a lot of us just would run to the car, right? So we can get into our car, especially when it was hot outside. So whether I was in line number 1, whether I was in line 10 or 12, it doesn't really matter, because when we got to the line, I mean, we were talking about seconds. We weren't talking about hours. And I think that whole mentality about having to always be first There's sometimes when it can matter, right? Because there's only so much a spot, like, for example, at Disney, if you're this, you want to be closer to the line, but it's not enough to you don't want to knock people down. But that's how it was in school. So when you started realizing that when you wanted to be first all time, so I took a different philosophy. I decided to be last. And so when I was last, I never forget what one of the teachers did, and it really angered one of the students, a couple of the students that got on there early. So, okay, now everyone that's in the front of the line, okay, what I want you to do is I want you to walk to the right, because when we walk to the left, walk to the right and stay there. Okay, now everyone go ahead that's in line and turn around so that your back is now your front. And then they're like, what the heck? What's going on? Like, well, we're deciding to make the people that are last to be first. They were so fuming with this. And I was first. But the point is, it's a position, it's a title. It doesn't define who you are. The fact that you need to, let's say, be so tied into that position, that defines who you are, right? So building depth is not something you do overnight. Building a friendship doesn't happen overnight. Building any kind of relationship doesn't happen overnight. Even a business relationship, you've got to do what you say over and over again. You've got to underpromise and overdeliver. And when you do that, people start to develop respect in you. They don't have 100% trust in you, but they start to develop some respect. After you do this over and over again, then they start to develop a real trust in you. Well, again, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed the show. I hope you enjoy the rest of your Labor Day today. Be sure to connect with me online at believemeachieve.com for more of my amazing, inspiring creations where we have short form content, long form content. You can re-listen to this show, other shows, and many other things, all by visiting believemeachieve.com. Oh, and did I mention, ladies and gentlemen, you can actually visit this 24 hours a day. That means you can take it with you if you're hiking or if you're doing exercises or if you're in your car. You can listen to our podcast, or if you're somewhere stationary, you can always watch our videos. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your Monday. I hope it's a great week for everyone. I thank you for joining in. We've got a lot more great information to share, and I can't wait to do that, which will be tomorrow. Take care. Be well, everyone.